What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ryan Brower. Welcome back to Sector for Nerds. I'm already messing up on the things I'm supposed to say. I've got a very special guest with me here today. Why don't you introduce yourself and plug all the things that you want to plug?
All right. Well, hey guys, I'm Caleb Nelson. Many of you probably know me from the Eternal Sith Empire. I'm Darth Kotlek the Conqueror, member of the Dark Council and Supreme Malevolence of House Dreadwar. Just want to talk to you guys about some of my experiences at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. I was only able to go on the Friday, which was, I believe, the first day or second day of Celebration?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first day that they started doing panels and stuff. Thursday, I believe, they opened the Celebration store and the exhibit hall,
yeah.
But I think that was about it.
Okay. Yeah, I did have a ticket for Sunday, but stuff ended up coming up that weekend where I had to work, and then I had some family troubles too, so...
Right.
This kind of gets in the way of my plans that I had previously.
But hey, I mean, I guess the bright side is you got to go for one day, right?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was a blast, time of my life. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything aside from maybe marriage.
Right, yeah. I mean, you and I were talking about it like all weekend long and just like a week after too, just like how much fun we had at Celebration. It's so good.
It was an incredible time. And then I live in Wisconsin in the Milwaukee area, so I did end up just driving down there the day of, so I didn't have to, stay in a hotel and pay a bunch of extra money for it, since I only could go the one day, even though I did have a 2-day ticket. But driving through Chicago is ridiculous.
That it is. And I fortunately didn't have to do it, so I had people coming with me.
It took me 40 minutes to drive 4 miles through Chicago. Like, come on. That's craziness. But then once I did arrive at the convention center, it was fairly self-explanatory. The parking garage was fairly empty. Because, I mean, I guess a bunch of people just took the shuttle from their hotel or had other people drive them as far as Uber, Lyft, whatever. But since I drove myself, I was pretty close and just had to walk a good ways through the convention center to get through the actual celebration part, which I thought it was going to take up the whole convention center, but it was insanely bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Chicago. Well, I'd been to Chicago 100 times, but not that specific place. But then we get to arriving there, so I had to find Ryan. That was really difficult. I want to tell them the story about that.
I mean, it was literally just like, he was, Celebration, I think it was called the McCormick place.
McCormick place. Yeah.
I think so, yes. So there were 4 levels to this place, and we were on the 3rd level, we were waiting to get, there was like a small Dunkin' Donuts cart. There was something that they like had donuts and things like that people were buying. And so I tried to get a hold of Caleb, and I'm like, where are you? And he was like, I'm on, it was so confusing. I don't know, I feel like we made it more difficult than it actually was.
We didn't stay in one spot. We bounced around.
We just kept bouncing around like, oh, you're on the 1st level? Wait, no, you're on the 2nd level.
I'm on the second
level. There's a 4th level? Wait, but why would you be up there? No, I'm going to go down the 2nd level. Oh, there you are. Like, it was literally, that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
It was, no.
But, I mean, once we found each other, we found the exhibit hall line pretty easily, and Ryan's a huge Ahsoka fan, and we actually got in line right behind Season 4 finale of Rebels Ahsoka, what we've dubbed as Ahsoka the White.
Ahsoka the White,
with her staff and with the Condor. I forget the name of that Condor.
Morai,
that's what it is.
Yes. Yeah, just as Ahsoka, I'll say it right now, I'm not sure if I've said it yet on the channel, but Ahsoka is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, and in the future you'll probably hear me talking about her a lot, especially when I go through like a lot of the Clone Wars episodes, especially since Dave Filoni did such a good job with telling her story, and hands down, I think she's the best character in all of Star Wars, but that is just one man's opinion.
I don't know, I'm not as much of an Ahsoka fan, but she is pretty great. I'm more lean towards the dark side, obviously. Sith Empire,
exactly, yep.
But I do enjoy a lot of Jedi characters, such as Ahsoka. And I think she was probably the best cosplayer I saw there, aside from maybe the Vader.
Yeah, I think she was probably one of the best.
And
Yeah.
her staff was definitely the best staff out of all the, quote, Ahsoka the White cosplayers.
Yeah.
Because there were a couple more, but they just didn't compare to her. But then, after we stand there for about an hour and see a bunch of different cosplayers and other people getting in line, getting to their panels and whatever else, we were able to get into the exhibit hall and found a lot of different things. Went to a couple different booths first. I'm a huge action figure collector as well, and the vintage collection had a really large showing as far as a lot of people's booths.
Yeah, you were very excited about that.
It was amazing. I ended up picking up a vintage collection, Attack of the Clones Barriss Offee, and I believe a vintage collection, Revenge of the Sith Ayla Secura, as well as a Revenge of the Sith collection 2005 Chancellor Palpatine, which was something that I missed back in 2005 when I was 5 years old and I first started getting into Star Wars. Revenge of the Sith was my first foray into it. My dad took me to the theater, so Star Wars has been with me ever since then.
Was Revenge of the Sith the first movie you saw? Okay,
No,
see,
it wasn't the first movie I saw, but it was the first Star Wars movie I saw.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. No, for me, just to kind of bounce off that real quickly and kind of go off topic. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got into Star Wars too when I was like 5-6 years old, and I remember watching. I think A New Hope was the first one I watched, and then Empire and Return of the Jedi, and then I went into the prequels. I actually, though, so my parents were of the, thing where, like, since Revenge of the Sith was the first Star Wars movie rated PG-13, so I was never able to watch that movie until I was about 10, I believe. So I had went, like, for the longest time, I had not watched Revenge of the Sith. I didn't know a single thing of what happened in that movie. I think the cool part, though, was that it allowed me to watch things like the Micro series, and especially, too, since the Micro series takes place right before it ends, right as Revenge of the Sith is going on. So when Revenge of the Sith starts, it's like, oh, so this is continuing off of what happened in, with Grievous coming in and capturing Palpatine. Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was kind of cool that I was able to put 2 and 2 together like that.
Oh, yeah. And Revenge of the Sith collection, I mean, that's what got me into Star Wars action figures.
Yeah.
I've been playing with them and collecting them ever since then. I mean,
I played with a lot of action figures growing up. That was my thing.
That's 14 years in the making now. So I got those. I went to a lot of other booths. There were some Marvel Legends there. I'm a huge Marvel Legends collector too, but they were a little bit overpriced as far as I'm concerned, especially with the newer waves. They should have been market value. They were higher than market value.
I think it was maybe because they thought, well, people most likely aren't going to be selling many Marvel or DC figures at a Star Wars convention, so maybe they tried to rob people of their money and be like, hey, come check out these cool toys over here.
But no, I'm not falling for that. I can pick them up at the store or on eBay for market value.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there was lots of cool art. I mean, original art as far as Star Wars original content, different characters from the sequels and the expanded universe and the originals and all that kind of good stuff. And then there were some other, like, official toy panels, like Hasbro was there. They had a bunch of reveals throughout the weekend. They did their exclusive Episode 1 carded Black Series Maul and Obi-Wan. And then they revealed a new, like, 8-inch style Vader that's probably going to be the start of a new line, but we don't know much about that right now. Bluefin was there. Bluefin is the American distributor for Bandai Japan and a couple other imported companies that make Star Wars action figures and collectibles. So they had a large showing there. They had, I believe it was a Celebration exclusive 000, but I can't remember if it was Celebration exclusive or if they ended up selling it on the Bluefin site and the American fan channel sites afterwards. They probably did, because that's how exclusives tend to go. They'll go to the fan channel sites afterwards. But then we kept walking around, and then Was the Celebration store before or after lunch?
The Celebration store was before lunch because what had happened was, and I explained this in my last video too. My brother had come to me with the idea of, hey, the Star Wars Episode 9 panel's going on right now, and we figured, everyone's going to be caught up watching that at the Celebration stage or at the, other stages that were there.
Stage,
yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised too. Like, even at the Star Wars show stage, which is in the exhibit hall, you'll just, like, people will just stand there and just look up at the massive Titantron that's there and watch the panel from there while you're hurting your neck all at the same time.
I wasn't going to break my neck for it.
And I know this because, as I'll mention in probably my next episode, but when I was there on Sunday, because I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that was the way I ended up watching the Mandalorian panel, because I really wanted to get to that one, but we didn't win any freaking lotteries, so...
No. I tried. I mean, I wasn't too interested in the Episode 9 panel just because the sequels haven't been really doing it for me. Force Awakens was pretty good. Last Jedi kind of fell off the rails. I am a huge Kylo Ren fan, though, as far as his conflict and his humanism. He's just a really interesting villain for me, but a lot of the other sequel characters in the sequel story itself doesn't really seem like Star Wars to me.
I think
especially Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were ways that they could have made it work. Like, I think the biggest example of a letdown for me in Last Jedi, and I'm kind of going off topic here, but I think the biggest letdown for me was Finn. Just first of all the Canto Bight stuff was just absolute crap. And I think even then, by the time when they get to Crate, like, I did enjoy all the stuff that happened on Crate. I think
Crate
there was
good.
You
Crate
could have
was a
made
good
it better. But the one thing that got me down was that I thought that the way they were going to do it was have Finn sacrifice himself to destroy the battery ram cannon and have him go out as a hero, especially
Finn
since
should have had his hero moment.
absolutely, especially since he spent the last 2 movies kind of running from the fight, and this is his moment where he's like, no, I'm gonna stand up and fight. I'm not gonna let them win, and I'm gonna die for something that I believe in that can defeat the First Order. And then Rose happened.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, and I mean, because Finn isn't really going to get his hero moment in The Rise of Skywalker.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
What can a stormtrooper do against the Dark Lord of the Sith if Palpatine is indeed the main villain of the next film?
Even if it was just Kylo too, like, I don't believe... Like, when Finn fought Kylo in the forest, I'm like, there's no way Finn's winning this.
And he got crushed.
Yeah, I mean, that...
And Kylo's only gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So...
Anyway, kind of back to... See, this is the problem when the two of us are in the room together. We could spend hours talking about Star Wars that we'll just get off on these random tangents that have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but hey...
It's incredible. That's our fandom. And
that is, absolutely.
Thing's been with us for years.
Absolutely.
But then we got to the Celebration store line.
Conveniently as the panel ended.
Panel,
that was so convenient.
No, it was right when the panel started that we got to the line.
And then it was when it ended. Yeah.
Right as we got into the store.
That was so
right after we saw the trailer and
oh my gosh.
The Palpatine reveal and Ian McDiarmid coming out on the stage, and so I had a really Palpatine day as far as Friday.
Oh yeah.
I bought the Chancellor Palpatine action figure from Revenge of the Sith. Palpatine's laugh ended up being in the trailer. Ian McDiarmid came out on stage, which just made my 1 o'clock. I think it was around 1 o'clock.
I think it was
that
around
I
1
had
o'clock. Yeah.
My picture that much better, because a week prior I had looked up the photo ops and the autographs and saw how much they cost and what was in the budget for Friday, who was going to be there Friday, because I didn't do mine a year out. I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest, until a month before Celebration.
I'm gonna be honest, I think it benefit, if you would have been there all weekend, and let's say you would have ordered autographs a week before Celebration, I honestly think that probably would have been better off, because as I think I mentioned it in my last video too, and I'm gonna get into that pretty soon with my stuff as well, but they didn't really come out with the times for the autograph booths and the photo op stuff until like a month before Celebration. And so I'm like, okay, so then I start planning my day. They bring out the Celebration app and they start, like, okay, so this is scheduled at this time, and I can start planning my day and my days and everything, what I'm going to do at this time, what I'm going to do at that time. And then like 2 or 3 days before Celebration, they essentially change everything. And I mean, like, it's only by like 10-20 minutes, which you may not think is a big deal, but when there's other things that you're trying to get to and you're trying to cram in all these things at once, which I guess maybe isn't the best move to start with, but you kind of want to do as much as you can while you're at Celebration, and then it's like, oh no, we're going to change this, and it's like, oh, now I can't do this, and now I can't do that.
I mean, lucky for us, they didn't change the days, given that I was only there for the 1 day.
If they would have changed the days, that would have been, oh my gosh.
But I didn't figure they would do that, because I'm sure there were a lot of people there that were just 1 day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because given the price of the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did get to get a photo op with Ian McDermott. Unfortunately, photo ops were click, hi, bye.
Yeah, we both learned that the hard way.
I didn't get to speak to him. I didn't get my recording for the Empire. I was going to have him say, "Greetings from Lord Sidious to the Eternal Sith Empire," in his, Lord Sidious voice, but since they didn't allow phone recordings, or they didn't allow phones at all in the actual picture taking area, I couldn't do that. But I got it. I told him that I was a huge fan, told him I love Palpatine, so I was able to be on my way and hang the picture on my previous dorm wall. It's not in this room, unfortunately, but only because I don't have space.
Yeah, right. You gotta work at that.
I'll get there. But then later in the day, I got to see a lot more cosplayers. I got a picture with, I believe, a group of 5 Sith.
I know you and I were taking a lot of, we would take each other's phones and be like, all right, you take a picture, and now I'll take a picture. We were tag teaming it.
Awesome. Malgus, Maul, Talon.
Was I there for that?
I think that was one where I was just walking around.
Okay, yeah. I could have been doing
I can't remember the other 2 Sith that were in the picture, but Kotlet got to be in there too, so it was pretty awesome. As the Empire knows, Lady Talon is my character's mother, so that was cool to kind of get her in a shot. I had been looking for a Lady Talon all day, and there were a few, but a lot of them weren't really up to par for what I wanted. But then I also got to meet a friend of mine from the Empire's history, Aaron Reichlin, or Darth Nemesis, and it was pretty cool to meet him. First person I've actually met from the Empire, aside from Gabriel or Andrialphus, who lives in West Dallas, which is about half an hour from me. So I got to meet him, and we talked for a little while and walked around a little bit. But then I had another photo op scheduled that I actually didn't schedule until Thursday, because I was kind of going back and forth as to if I wanted to spend any more money at Celebration. But I scheduled it with Sam Witwer and Ray Park, so we got Maul times 2, and
That's
then
great. The voice and the body.
Voice and body, absolutely. And then I love Sam Witwer as Star Killer in the Force Unleashed games, and him as Palpatine in the Force Unleashed games. He was really amazing in those. Force Unleashed is one of my favorite games, but I lean more towards Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic MMO as far as my Star Wars games.
I'm more into, when it comes to video games, I really like single-player campaign games, because I think they tell the best stories, and I think Force Unleashed by far told the best story.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get with Knights of the Old Republic, but it is role-playing based, so there's a lot of decisions to make, so the story is...
Which I appreciate. I do enjoy that stuff.
Tailored to what you do.
Yeah.
Like, you can pick your Jedi class, you can pick if you want to do light side or dark side actions. Each action, it's not like you're set in stone to going at the whole game.
I mean, the one opportunity that you do get to choose the light and dark side in Force Unleashed, both games, is at the end.
When you're trying to kill Vader.
Yes.
In both games.
Yeah.
That was still a wonky ending to the Force Unleashed 2 when you go to kill Vader.
It was lame. That, I'll admit, that one was and also, I mean, not just because I'm more of a light side guy, but just the Force Unleashed one, that dark side ending kind of made sense, but the second one just made no sense at all, where Vader's just like, ha ha ha, I lied to you, I did perfect the cloning process. I'm like, What?
What?
No, like you want to. I thought the whole point, because my theory is he's not a clone in The Force Unleashed 2. I think that is actual Starkiller. Vader is trying to get him back on his side because he realizes I can never. Like, Starkiller, you can clone him, but he's not going to be as powerful.
Right.
At least that's what I would assume. So just the fact that he's like,
mean,
ha ha, I totally lied. The cloning process is good, and I've now got an. I'm like, what? So, whatever.
Doesn't make sense.
Whatever.
Because he had all the imperfect clones. Why would he go after this one unless it was the original Starkiller?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he made him believe he was a clone, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that comes in the future, maybe not. I'm crossing my fingers on a Force Unleashed 3.
We'll see how it goes. But getting back into Sam Witwer.
Yes, back to Sam Witwer.
When I was at Celebration, I was wearing my shirt that says "The Jedi Must End," and Sam Witwer and Ray Park both commented on it because, you know, Dark Lords of the Sith are going to agree with me on that. So Ray Park was like pointing to my shirt in the picture, and they were both like, "Yeah," and they loved it, and that was cool. And I might have to connect with them a couple more times. Wisconsin Comic-Con is coming up really soon, and Ray Park's going to be there, so hopefully I'll get to connect with him again.
Yeah, I know my brother Christopher and his friend Jacob, they both got to meet Ray Park. I didn't, so yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. Ray Park is one of those guys that he seems like such a nice guy. Yeah, and same with Sam Witwer.
He's a person of the fans. They both are.
They both, absolutely.
They are Star Wars fans. They're not just actors. They do enjoy the story and lore. And
I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure both of them acknowledged how good the Vader fan film that Star Wars Theory created was. I think they both tweeted out about that, saying how great it was. Which, by the way, Star Wars Theory, if you ever watch this video, your Vader fan film was amazing. I can't wait for your second one. I'm counting on you to deliver.
But Mace Windu's dead.
All right, and so back to Darth Maul?
Yeah, back to Darth Maul. I mean, I got a picture with both of them and printed it out, hung it on my wall, and shared it with the Empire, of course, and everyone loved it, and I loved it. It was a crazy experience to be in the same room, much less the same area, with those guys and getting to talk to them. But then, unfortunately, the line for that was ridiculous. I didn't even get to stand in line until 20 minutes after the photo.
Yeah, the
photo
line.
time.
If there was something you could change about Celebration, which I'll kind of get into as well, is just the way the lines worked. It did not seem like it was that well coordinated.
Because they had Ray Park doing like everything at that time. He was supposed to be doing a solo photo op. He was supposed to be doing his photo op with McDermott. He was supposed to be doing his autographs, and then he was supposed to do his photo ops with Witwer. But they were all within like an hour of each other, and they all were too booked to go back to back. So they got off on their times, and I didn't end up getting in line until about 20 minutes after the photo op was originally supposed to happen. So I ended up waiting in line an extra 20 to 30 minutes, so it took like an hour after it was supposed to happen. But it was all worth it in the end, and unfortunately I didn't get to walk back through the convention center like I wanted to see the rest of the toys and see if anything had been marked down or whatever, see if there had been any new stuff that I had missed earlier. And I didn't get to go to the Vader Immortal booth like I wanted to, but
that all weekend the Vader Immortal booth was so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time we waited in line to get in every morning into the exhibit hall, we'd get in there and like there'd already be a long line for the Vader Immortal. It's just that's how popular it was.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that game actually is in order to look at it.
I have seen some gameplay footage of it, and it looks pretty good.
Hopefully that's the good Star Wars game we want.
Yeah. But it's okay, because we got a good Star Wars game with Lego Star Wars. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch it.
Absolutely.
I posted a video. It was so funny, because I had posted a Jedi Fallen Order video earlier in the day too, and I was like, the game seemed. I was talking with him about it. I was talking about how good it was, but then I went back and I watched my own video of it. I'm like, I sound more negative on it, and I didn't mean to come across that way. Like Jedi Fallen Order does look like it's going to be a good game. I think I was just trying. What I was trying to get across was I'm just worried because EA hasn't delivered in Star Wars games the way I had hoped they would. So I was just kind of like, and I get that Respawn Entertainment is developing the game. EA's just overseeing those developments. But I just was like, there's potential that this may not be good.
Absolutely.
And then when I had found out that
the EA logo kind of scares us.
yes, this is very true. Before the dark times,
before the EA
before
empire.
the EA empire.
I'm a former Madden player, and I got out of that because EA just kind of criffed up the whole thing.
Yeah. I just feel like with Madden games, it's the same thing every year. It's just they update the rosters.
They just like to make it worse every year.
Yes, exactly. How did we get on Madden?
EA.
EA. Screw you, EA.
I agree. But my whole Celebration experience was an amazing thing, and I'm definitely going again. I don't know if I'll be able to go to Celebration Anaheim 2020, but it would be an amazing thing. And if I can, I'd like to, kind of tie in a Galaxy's Edge trip to there too.
Yeah.
To tie in the new canon in Episode 9 to my Legends loving self.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, it's all Star Wars, people.
Absolutely.
It's all
Star Wars, one story, one canon, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think the odds of me going to Anaheim aren't that high, just because of like my money situation right now. But I definitely, like, one day I am definitely going back to Celebration again, whether it be in like 2 years, 3 years, whenever they do the next Celebration. I want to go back because, as he said before, he had the time of his life. I had the absolute time of my life. I loved it so much.
Absolutely, it was great, and I wouldn't change it.
It was,
except for lines.
Yes, and take the lines. Yeah, I think the cool part too is that, like, I don't. In all honesty, I don't really know that many people that like I know a few people that talk about Star Wars. For example, him and my brother and a few other people. But whenever I bring up like Star Wars, like I'll make a Star Wars reference in front of friends, and then like other friends will be around who don't know Star Wars, and they'll kind of look at me like, huh? And it's like, yeah, and it's like, oh,
half of us will get it, and half of us
will get it, half of us won't. But like I'll make a joke, or I'll talk with someone in line at Celebration, because I had the opportunity to talk with a bunch of people there, and just to be able to talk with people about the thing that we all are there to talk about and just experience was just absolutely incredible. And it just was like, I'd make a reference that probably no one would get, like when I was waiting in line to meet Sam Witwer. I don't know how this happened, but I was just making a Han Solo reference from Empire Strikes Back, where I was like, it's not my fault, no lights, and Leia's like, no light speed. I'm like, it's not my fault, and the person that I was talking to got it, and they laughed at it, and I'm like it just felt so right. You know what I'm saying? It felt, yes, absolutely. Any closing thoughts that you want to add about Celebration?
Not really. Just like when we were sitting at dinner, going through
yeah.
all the possible avenues of
Yeah.
Episode 9, how Palpatine can return, if he's in the flesh, if he's a Force spirit, if
how relieved our waiter looked when you ordered a chicken entree because the rest of us ordered burgers. I explained that in my last video, if you guys hadn't, or in my first Celebration video, that we had all went out to dinner after we were done with Celebration, and I keep forgetting the name of the restaurant, and
I don't know. It was a super fancy restaurant,
absolutely
really expensive. Luckily, his parents paid.
I was gonna say this
that.
is very true. I did have. That was the convenient part. We did have their help.
That was a nice part about the weekend. I
Yes.
ordered some kind of chicken and gravy, but I didn't do any substitutions, didn't do any customization.
Which is what me and my brother and everyone else was doing. I was just like, oh my gosh. And she tried to do a good job of hiding it too. Like, she didn't say anything, but you could just tell by her face reactions. She was like, just get the F out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, but yeah, we, back to what you were saying before, like, we had so many discussions about, like, what would happen with Palpatine in Episode 9, and just, I remember going back to my hotel after it was done, and I watched the trailer like 20 times. I was watching other people's reactions to it. I was so hyped.
There's plenty of avenues for Palpatine's reappearance, reemergence, or resurrection, whether he be in spirit form. As far as Sith spirits go, oftentimes you can anchor your essence to an object, They don't have the same luxuries as Jedi spirits do as far as roaming freely throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because of the influence of the dark side. I mean, they can, but you have to go through a complex ritual to do so, and oftentimes those sort of rituals are undone by Jedi. Like in the case of Exar Kun on Yavin 4, his ritual was interrupted by a wall of light, which he was able to transcend the physical plane and become a Force spirit, but he was bound to one of the Masasi temples on Yavin 4 until he was eventually killed by the New Jedi Order and Luke Skywalker shortly after the Jedi Academy games. But I think Palpatine may be able to do something like that as far as anchoring himself to the Death Star or to a piece of the Death Star or something like that. According to Star Wars Series plot leak, apparently that's on Yavin. I don't know. It doesn't look like Yavin.
I don't know where they're... I've been trying to figure that out all this time. Like, where are they at in that trailer?
I can't see that being the Death Star 1, to be honest. And it doesn't make sense that
No, I feel like it's Death Star 2, if anything. But, like, either way, the confusing part for me was, like, I thought they just both blew up and just Thanos'd into existence, but... Mm-hmm. I guess not.
But apparently there are pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know where those came from.
I don't know.
But pain isn't an avenue for Palpatine. He's not really a pain user.
You know what it could be?
And Scion.
Back to the Death Star thing real quickly. Maybe it was Starkiller Base 2. They were testing it and it didn't work. So it just kind of like blew up in half and half of it landed on like whatever planet that is. That would be such a lame way to do it. No. But I could definitely
no Death Star Force.
I mean, Disney, I know, but Disney people, come on, like, let's be honest.
I think they'll do a good job with this movie. I mean,
I agree.
JJ did a good job with The Force Awakens.
And I think he learned from the mistakes that he did make in that movie. I trust him to get the job done.
Absolutely. He can do it. Yeah, I mean, essence transfer is always an thing.
Well, that was one of the things that we talked about, too, was the essence transfer, and that, you know, maybe even, like, he takes on, like, a younger version of himself, or that we even had discussions of maybe, like, the, something involving the world between worlds, that they introduced in Star Wars Rebels, maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, we possibly, I feel like, played out every scenario where I feel like one of them has to be, or maybe it's something much better that we're not even thinking about yet. I don't know.
I just had a thought, and I hadn't really thought about this before, but if Palpatine does use the world between worlds, he could potentially pull his Legends counterpart into the canon universe.
Yeah, see, and that would be
ridiculous. If he pulled Dark Empire Palpatine into the canon universe, there's no way Kylo and Rey.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if Palpatine? Because clearly, like, Palpatine had a way in. I mean, I know he needed Ezra to open the door, but maybe, like, when Ezra went in, the door was open brief enough to where he was able to do something and maybe pull a former version of himself out of a different time or something like that. I don't know. You never know.
Palpatine is definitely smart enough to pull an Eobard Thawne and have backups of himself.
Palpatine is probably one of the smartest people in the Star Wars universe, so I feel like he would definitely he does nothing without a strategy.
I mean, learning from his master Lord Plagueis on how to manipulate life and manipulate midichlorians, makes sense.
My other theory is, what if he figured it out? He said in Revenge of the Sith, like, to cheat death is the thing that only one has achieved, referring to Plagueis.
Except it wasn't.
Well, right. But, like, I'm saying, like, what if he found a way to do it? Like, without Vader, without telling Vader, he found a way to do it.
I think he very well could have, whether it be through essence transfer or through manipulating midichlorians or any of the other means of immortality in the Star Wars universe.
Absolutely.
There's definitely plenty of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I think we kind of veered off topic here.
Happens, and it's not super off topic because Palpatine is
this
episode
is true.
9.
Yes, absolutely.
Episode 9 panel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, overall, like we said, with Celebration, it was such an amazing time. I wouldn't, trade it for anything except for, sometimes the lines were a pain in the butt. But hey, that's what you got to do with any, if you go to Six Flags, what do? You wait in lines.
Stand in line.
You know what I mean? So I kind of looked at it from that aspect as well.
Probably half our lives are spent standing in line.
This is very, very true.
You even go to the restaurant, you stand in line.
This is true. I mean, I don't think we had to wait that long though.
No,
The only non-convenient part though about this restaurant was, so in order to get up to the restaurant, there was an escalator, and like there's barely any room to stand up because like you have the booth where the, or what do you call it, like the desk or whatever, where the waiters stand up.
Desk.
Yes, the hostess desk, and like it's like right next to the escalator. So like there were like what. There was like five or six of us that were all standing there, and like other people were trying to get up the escalator. I'm like, oh shoot, we gotta move. Like people are getting up, but there's gonna be no room. There's gonna be chaos. Like we gotta find somewhere else to go because
there wasn't enough space to stand there, and they didn't have any place open in the restaurant for us to sit right away.
So we kind of just had to maneuver around people and just be like, here, come up quickly, you know.
Don't fall back.
Don't fall back down. We don't want to be responsible for any injuries whatsoever. So
we don't have the Force, so we can't make you immortal.
All right, well, you know what? I think that's going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know in the comments if you guys went to Star Wars, if any of you guys went to Star Wars Celebration. Let me know if you plan on going to Star Wars Celebration in the future. Just anything, you know, Star Wars related that you want to, you know, talk about in the comments. By all means, you are more than welcome to.
Absolutely.
Any closing things you want to just say?
Not really. Just thank you. May the Force serve you, and hail the Empire.